There are many things you can read about the book Think and Grow Rich, but the biggest mistake is believing that just thinking is enough. Even if you read the book 100 times and memorize every sentence, if you don't take any action, your wallet will remain empty. The real breakthrough secret doesn't lie between the lines, but beyond them. I personally experienced this on my journey from bankruptcy to wealth. Ask yourself, why are you stuck in the same place despite all the learning? You're about to get the answer. You will discover things that no one has ever told you before. It's heartbreaking to see so many people waste their incredible potential and live a mediocre life just because they don't know how to properly use their mind. Don't get me wrong, most people think they are thinking, but they are merely recalling their failures, debts, fears, what they heard from their parents, their bosses, what life has shown them so far. That is not thinking, it's just repetition. True thinking is creating. And if you learn to consciously create images in your mind, you start transforming your reality from within. The key point that few understand is this: everything you have in your life today, from your bank account to your home, is the result of a mental picture you have nurtured, consciously or unconsciously. Want to change your life? Then change your inner pictures. The secret is that your subconscious doesn't respond to what you say, but to the images and feelings you hold on to. You can say 1,000 times, "I want to be rich," but if inside you feel poverty and lack, nothing will change. My life changed completely when I understood this. At that time, I was earning approximately $40,000 per year and had debts of about $60,000. It completely drained me. Then one day I stopped. I isolated myself, took paper and pen and wrote, "How do I really want to live?" I detailed my dream home, the furniture, my clothes, my car, even the scent I would wear. I left nothing out. I wasn't dreaming, I was planning. And most importantly, I felt it as if it were already real. Of course, now comes the excuse, but I can't visualize. Just think, how many nights have you imagined everything going wrong? The bill tomorrow? Losing your job? Don't say you can't imagine things. You can. You're just using your imagination against yourself. Mental images are not mere fantasies. They are instructions to the universe. Napoleon Hill also said, "What the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But beware, it's not enough to imagine. You must believe. And belief is closely linked to how clearly and emotionally intensely you visualize. How do you see yourself when you think of prosperity? Sitting in a rusty old car, struggling with taxes, or driving your dream car, with the engine's sound accompanying your anthem of freedom? Do you avoid your bank statement, or do you smile as you watch your growing income? Your image determines what your life will be. The most common mistake: people think they must wait for things to improve before they start thinking differently. But it's the other way around. You must think and feel differently first for life to change. It wasn't easy when we began applying this. We had to fight our old selves. Once I saw a man on the street walking elegantly, calmly, head held high, as if the world belonged to him. And then something whispered inside me. From today, you will walk like that, because that is how you will feel. And you know what happened? I never walked like before again. People looked at me differently. I felt different. The world began reflecting the new image. That's why I say, if you don't like the results, don't try to change the circumstances, change the picture. The outer world is the reflection of the inner one. This is not empty motivational talk. Research from University College London showed that if you consistently visualize a new behavior, neural pathways begin to reorganize as if you were already doing it. In other words, your mind starts believing you are already that person. And when that happens, your body moves differently. Your decisions change, your actions align, and results appear. But this requires discipline. You must choose the picture every day. You need to build your new self with the same dedication as an architect building a house. Have you written down how you want to live? Not in the future, not someday. Write it as if it were now. The brain cannot distinguish between reality and a vividly emotional mental picture. Use this power. Take a sheet of paper. Write down how you want to live. In full detail, feel it. And act as if it's already real. This is the key, the image, the feeling. and consistent action. This cycle transforms thought into wealth. Don't ignore it, because if you don't choose your picture, the world will choose it for you. And it is almost always a limited, weak image trapped in the past. Oh, but you deserve more. You were born to live the strongest image your soul can carry. Have you ever wondered why some get stuck in a whirlpool of mistakes and failures while others move forward effortlessly as if they know a secret? The answer: they learn to listen to feelings, not appearances. Most people focus on what they see, touch, measure. If the bank balance is low, they believe there is lack. If a bill arrives, they think they're in trouble. If a business fails, they despair. But let me tell you what radically changed my life. What you see around you is not reality. It is only a delayed reflection of your consciousness, an old photograph of your past vibration. The real reality, the one that creates, transforms, and manifests, begins with feeling. People say, face reality. I say, no, create reality. Because if you keep believing your environment defines you, you will forever be a prisoner of the life you mistakenly imagined. There were moments in my life when everything seemed to collapse. Debts, pressure, uncertainty. And the only thing left was the feeling. The feeling that something greater was approaching. I rejected appearances because I had already understood. If you deeply feel that something is true, that feeling becomes the seed of change. Yet, most people are afraid to feel what they truly want because of the fear of disappointment. They prefer to hold on to safe but painful things rather than allow themselves to experience what they really desire. Have you ever been afraid of having a lot of money? Do you feel guilty when you imagine yourself living in abundance? Do you think you don't deserve it? These feelings are stronger than any financial plan because they shape the vibrational field that determines what we attract or repel. Science confirms this as well. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute discovered that when the mind and heart are in harmony, when your thoughts and feelings align with what you want, it creates a powerful electromagnetic field capable of changing physiological patterns and even influencing the external environment. Feeling is a language. It is the channel between your desires and the physical world. If you feel as though what you want has already happened, you are vibrating at the same frequency as your desire. Then you begin to notice coincidences, synchronicities, and opportunities. It's not magic, it's physics. But most people feel the exact opposite of what they want. They say they want wealth, but fear they won't have enough. They say they want love, but feel unworthy. And so, they live unknowingly in contradiction. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are full on a vibrational level. And who you are is directly connected to what you most often feel. So stop asking, how will I achieve it? That question leads you back to fear, doubt, and lack. Instead, ask yourself, how would I feel if I already had it? And live in that feeling. I did this day after day for years. Sitting in an old chair with unpaid bills, I felt free. I wasn't waiting for freedom. I was living it inside. And that vibration shaped every step I took. People showed up. People showed. Opportunities connected. Nothing was random. Everything was drawn by the vibration born from that feeling. Do you know why so many people learn, attend courses, watch videos, and nothing changes? Because they remain stuck in the vibrations of doubt, fear, and what if I fail? While those who feel they've already succeeded might not always know how it will happen, but it happens. Have you noticed when the biggest changes in your life happened? When you allowed yourself to feel that something new was possible, without proof, without guarantees. Here lies the secret. And when you understand this, you stop obsessing over time, because true feeling is in the present. And it's in the present that you begin to create new things. So if there's one thing I've been teaching for decades, it's this. Don't wait for the world to change for you to feel different. Feel different, and the world will rearrange around you. This is the law. This is the bridge. This is the code. And now that you know this, the question is, will you continue to feel what the world shows you? Or will you start to feel what you want to see in the world? Most people are conditioned to believe they must work hard, struggle, endure years of hardship, to one day achieve what they want. I call this the prison of the future. They live as if success is a distant point on the horizon, always just out of reach, always something that will come later. But let me tell you a truth that shakes everything you've been taught. The future doesn't exist. There is only now. And how you think, feel, and act now determines whether that future will come to pass. You're not here to chase success. You're here to start from success. The secret is not to strive toward a goal, but to act as if the goal is already achieved. This changes everything. It completely changes your vibration, because when you start from certainty, doubt disappears. When you act from trust, hesitation ceases. And when you live as if you've already attained everything, the universe has no choice but to respond. I experienced this myself. For years I pretended to try, but in reality, I was sabotaging myself. I kept telling myself one day I'll be successful. But while saying that, I acted like someone who still had to prove their worth. Then one day I stopped, and I made a choice. From today I am. And that change was not only mental, it was physical, emotional, behavioral. I began making decisions like a successful person. I spoke differently, I walked differently, I chose differently, and the world responded. Do you know why many people don't move despite doing everything? Because they operate on the frequency of waiting, not realization. They say they want it, but live as if it's far away. But listen, the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are, what you radiate. And if you radiate the energy of a struggling, searching person, that's exactly what you'll attract. More struggle, more searching, more waiting. Remember what I said about Milt Campbell, the Olympic champion? For years he visualized the gold medal. But not just that. He felt it, lived it, trained as if it was already his. There was no room for doubt. And when the day of the competition came, he had already won inside himself. The gold simply confirmed what was already a vibrational reality. This is the key, thinking from the desired state, not toward it. When you think from the end, everything changes. You stop asking, will it happen? And start asking, what do I do now that it's happened? This mindset changes your tone, the intensity of your actions, the direction of your decisions. And one more thing, when you're already in the fulfilled state, you create what I call a vibrational shortcut. You save time, energy, and suffering. Science explains this too. Research from Harvard Medical School showed that people who experience emotions associated with success, like gratitude, joy, and trust, release more dopamine and serotonin, improve focus and decision-making, and are more likely to produce positive outcomes. In other words, you literally begin to function more effectively, creatively, and powerfully. But what if I'm just pretending? And what if nothing changes? You might ask. And I would respond with another question. What if you keep doing exactly what you've been doing, and everything stays the same? What hurts more, risking to live in a state that's already familiar, or clinging to a version of yourself that only creates more of the same? When I started acting as if I was already the person I wanted to be, people criticized me. Some said, "You're so full of yourself." But they didn't realize it wasn't arrogance. I was owning myself. I accepted the image I had intentionally, purposefully, and clearly created. And that image became my new normal. Here's an exercise that can change everything for you. Right now, today, stop for a few minutes, close your eyes, and answer. If I were already the person I want to be, how would I act right now? How would I speak to people? How would I handle this problem? What clothes would I wear? What decisions would I make today? And after you find your answers, act accordingly. Not tomorrow, now. Because when you act like you already are who you want to be, you align with what you desire, and the world responds. You don't need more time, you need more presence. Not more plans, more alignment. And above all, you don't need to achieve success, you need to live from success. Believe me, you already have everything you need. You just have to stop waiting and start being. Do you know what most often stops people from changing their lives, from reaching the next level, from living in freedom and abundance? It's not lack of money, not lack of opportunities, not the government. It's the fear of what others will think. The truth is, most people care more about others' opinions than their own dreams. And that is an invisible prison. Someone feels the call to change, to grow, to break boundaries, to live more fully. But it's enough to imagine judgment, criticism, disapproving looks, and they retreat. And you know what's most ironic? The people who judge, criticize, and discourage you are usually more lost than you. Yet somehow, we give their opinions more weight than our own vision of the future. I was like that for a long time. I wanted everyone to like me. I said yes when I wanted to say no. I tried to fit in. I smiled when I didn't want to, all out of fear of seeming strange, arrogant, or different. But do you know what happens when you live like that? You drift away from who you really are. And when you lose touch with your essence, nothing works. I remember a simple situation with huge symbolic meaning. A woman asked me to dance. I simply said, "I don't want to." She got upset, but I didn't budge. Because in that moment I realized my peace was worth more than her approval. And if I danced just to please her, I was dancing against myself. Something shifted inside me there. I decided with full strength that I would never again do something just to be accepted. And you? How many times have you given up what you believe, what you feel, what you want, just to be accepted by someone? How many times have you dressed, acted, chosen, or stayed silent just to seem normal? The big change comes when you decide to live from the inside out. When your image of yourself matters more than the image you think others project onto you. Because at the end of the day, the only person you sleep with, wake up with, and live 24 hours with is you. And that's why for me, true freedom started when I understood that the only opinion that really matters is mine. It's not arrogance, it's integrity. Do you know what amazes me most? The large number of people who aren't successful, not due to lack of talent, but fear of looking ridiculous. How many never started a project because their friends would laugh? How many buried their dreams because their parents wouldn't approve? How many kept their brilliant ideas silent just because someone said, "That won't work"? And all of these carry huge emotional burdens. Anxiety, frustration, anger, guilt. Science has already proven this. A University of California study showed that those who try to please everyone have higher stress levels, lower self-esteem, and even depressive disorders. Meaning, trying to please everyone can destroy you from the inside. And here is a truth that can set you free. People will judge you anyway. If you fail, they judge. If you succeed, they judge too. So why not live your truth? You have the right to be who you are, to wear what you want, to say what you believe, to dream big, to walk differently, to think differently. You have the right to be extraordinary, but for that, you must give up the need for approval. You must stop fearing judgment. You must understand that applause won't pay your bills, that others' opinions won't build your future. When you choose to live your truth, something huge happens. The right people show up, the right opportunities come, the right doors open. But this only happens if you respect who you really are. As long as you're busy trying to look like someone people like, they'll connect with your mask, not your essence. And then, even surrounded, you live in loneliness. So decide today, will you continue to be a version of yourself shaped by others? Or will you finally take the lead role in your own story? Because if there's one thing I can guarantee, it's this: life truly begins when you stop asking permission to live it. You don't have to achieve anything to be who you want to become. You just need to start living as if you already are. You've reached the point where intuition, feeling, and action merge. Everything starts here inside you. If this message touched you, if it sparked even a little flame inside, then you're ready for the next step. And believe me, it's already knocking on your door in the next video. You'll be one step closer to the peak of wisdom. And if you dive in, I promise you'll be 1% better than you are today. Thank you for coming this far. I'll see you there.